bitches.
Speaking of reality hitting, Kwame Brown. So yeah. Now Kwame Brown has been in the news lately, and you would not expect because ain't nobody heard from Kwame Brown in years. Because he retired from basketball a bit ago. So you wouldn't expect to just hear his name in the news. He's not a commentator, he's not a reporter or nothing. But lately his name has been brought up by Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Now on their show, they had comments like he was a bust, and they were talking about with Gilbert Arenas about how he was demeaned by Jordan as a man child, and he was too fast to handle the ball well, and because of that, he was a scrub and he was a trade fodder, and he was, all of this. So he heard it, and Kwame Brown responded pretty aggressively, like, if y'all want to see me, you can see me, and I ain't about to be taking this shit, and et cetera, et cetera. So it led me to ask this question. When does criticism turn into hate or just being cruel? Like, where is that line? In this situation, but also in life. Like, especially now that we're into the podcast game, and it's kind of one of our side jobs to speak on and give our opinions on things that we see in the world around us. Where does criticism go from being just criticism to being cruel or hate?
It's a fine line for real, because it's all dependent on how someone interprets what you're really saying. And we all know perception is once it's our own reality. So how you perceive what someone's really trying to say, or perceive someone's implications behind their words. And in today's society, it's all based on tone or based on your delivery instead of based on the actuality of your true statement. So these days, that line is getting pushed back to me, where some things that shouldn't be considered to be cruel are considered cruel nowadays. Where when we grew up, a lot of shit could be said, and it was just like, okay, roll with the punches. That ain't cruel. We know what cruel could be, but nowadays the slightest thing could be considered cruel when you criticize somebody on their performance or anything. So just like when you look at juvenile sports and kid sports, they want to give everyone a trophy because they believe in losers. It has to be a loser. Everyone's not a winner. You have to teach kids the difference. So if you always show them like everyone's a winner, they grow up entitled, and they can't process shit when shit really happens. So my thing is, if we stop criticizing people to the utmost, they really won't know. But even in criticism, just to each his own. Like, that's somebody's opinion on another person. So how far and how serious can you take somebody else's opinion on something? Because it's just that person's opinion. So if you put too much into that person's opinion, are you giving them power over you?
Yeah, I feel like it's just about, like, anytime you criticize anything, somebody's not gonna feel okay about something. If you're really being critical about something with no bias or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just really, it is about how you say it and how you come across or whatever. Because if you come off with a disrespectful tone or whatever, and mind you, I'm trying to think, if I'm Kwame, I retired, I ain't messing around nobody, I'm keeping to myself or whatever, and then out of the blue, my name just got blown up in, the airwaves or whatever, whatnot, that you might feel like you got like sideswiped, like out of the blue, like, yo, I'm minding my own business, why y'all gotta come across like that or whatever. And then when you have like a network of reporters bringing up your name, and then sliding you or whatever, or just being either they slide you or they're being critical or whatever in between. You know, and in that banner they have like jokes in the in between. Because if you're doing normal barbershop talk or whatever, you saying whatever out of your mouth. You know, y'all joking around, just having fun, chit chat, whatever. And then I think a lot of times or whatever, especially in podcasting or whatnot, you get into that banner and you talk how you normally talk around your homeboys, and we're in the airwaves. Somebody might take it a different way, pretty much. But like, I didn't hear too much of like the original recording of what Matt Barnes and them said. All I've been hearing or been able to get to is like the responses back and forth though. So like, was there original like statement about Kwame? Did it sound disrespectful, or did it just sound like, hey, he could have did better?
Oh.
I mean, before you even go there, like, if you in the public eye, man, you sign up for any criticism that you receive. Because
That's true.
You sign up. The money you make should cushion all the verbal blows. I mean, retired or not, he ain't bumming. He living comfortably. So the career you had must not have been that bad. So regardless of what someone else said, you know you signed up for whatever you did when you went to the National Basketball Association. It's not the Nebraska Basketball Association where you be
That
mad about somebody
Negro
outside
said
Nebraska. You feel me? Like it ain't there. So it's national. So if anybody got something to say, okay, you take it. You know what your stats was. If someone has something to say about your stats, oh well, suck that shit up. I mean, you sign up for certain shit when you're in the public life. That's why when I'm on here, I'm as cold and as truthful and as blunt as I am about anything I'm talking about, especially myself, because no one will ever be able to say, oh, well, you know, Face did this. Oh, yeah, we know Face said that. He already said that before.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
I kind of feel like he's kind of controlling the narrative now, because if you notice in media, everybody's like before all this, everybody was like, all right, we're going to keep saying what we got to say about Kwame. And then when he actually said something about it or whatever, now media changed. They're getting all those comments from other from commenters that probably heard his stuff. And then they're changing that whole aspect. Oh yeah, he was under Michael Jordan and he was 17 years old and he was young, and you know, Jordan was talking to him harshly or whatever, and he was treated like this throughout the whole, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, where was all that when y'all allowed other people to just say, no, yeah, he's just trash. You know what I'm saying? But I like that though. I kind of like that. I mean, we may disagree about how he did it. And I mean, it probably was pure emotion when he did it because he pissed off. But I like the fact that he took the narrative away from mainstream media about himself.
Right. I definitely agree that it was probably an emotional reaction. But again, like I said before, you can't necessarily tell somebody how to react. So I can't do nothing but respect it, because it seemed like that's his authentic position and he's willing to stand on it. So I got to respect it. You know, integrity and authenticity is all I ask. So what I will say though is as far as he's a bust shit, my thing is, where was all of this? What's going on? I want to know what his financial situation is, etc. And that's being a chatty patty and a nosy posy. I know. But the reason I want to know that, is because he's been called these types of things by everybody in the media since he was drafted. Since his first year when he didn't live up to the hype. people have been talking about him as a bust, as a scrub. Stephen A. done clowned him many a time. Skip Bayless done clowned him many a time. Everybody on ESPN done went ahead. Like, so for you to come out right now, all of a sudden, for one, it's the social media age. So you know you can get popping if you go ahead and start coming at some controversial shit. All the Smoke is a popular podcast. It ain't necessarily like number one, but it is definitely number one of the top podcasts as far as our culture that's out there, period. You know what I mean? So when you're coming at the people on there, you know you coming in with an audience. The nigga already monetized and getting super chats and shit. So my thing is, was this a money grab, or is this like literally how you been feeling? Like, what made you all of a sudden right now come out? Is it authentic? Is it just you felt like you couldn't take no more? Because it's been a long time of people clowning you and you've been eating that shit. And now all of a sudden, people calling you a scrub rub you so bad that you, oh, fuck dude. And I don't know. And kill me for saying it, whatever. I don't give a damn. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like it's a lot of people that be chasing the drama for that guap.
I you know what though, Tiz, just off of how just his responses, because they seem really emotional,
right,
or whatever. I think it was just them two that pushed them to this point. Like, I feel like the simple fact that those two, Matt Barnes, I forgot the other one,
Steven Jackson, Stat.
Steven Jackson. I think it's the simple fact that those two said something or whatever, and they know, and he knows them. You know what I'm saying?
I thought a bum nigga said something.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the simple fact that they did that, I kind of feel like it was on some old, and no disrespect when I say that, on some old Revenge of the Nerds type shit. Like, all right, oh, you gonna say that on your podcast? All right, forget it. I'm gonna go make a podcast too, and I'm gonna say what I got to say. I think from there it was just like an avalanche of. I mean, I don't think, mind you, he's not been in the public eye for a while. I never heard of him being like big on social media.
Never heard
except for like a trending topic, and pretty much. And he's bored at home because he's retired. And then you hear your name off it. It's like, you know what? I'm tired. I did 20 years of this. I retired, so I don't have to hear 20 years of this before. I figured if I retire, I don't have to hear y'all talking trash about my name. Now y'all bringing this back up. You know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and snap, and then I'm gonna do this Revenge of the Nerds plan on y'all, and y'all not gonna expect it. And let me tell you, it works. And me, I got a bias for the underdog. To me, you know what I'm saying?
I can respect.
I have a bias for the underdog, and when I get that feeling like the underdog is winning or whatever, I'm rooting for you. Pretty much, because I know what it's been. I know what it feels like to be doubted on. You know what I'm saying? Or have these full expectations at first, and then everybody's having their critique about what you do or whatever. I know that feeling of being joked on or humiliated a couple of times or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then having that moment of clarity where you can just go straight revenge mode and just shut people up one good time. You know what I'm saying? So I fucks with him, and then you said it, Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless was one of the main people that was talking junk about him, and he's also one of the main people that turned around and said, "Hey, maybe we have been being harsh on him for the past 20 years, and he was under this and this and this." That's because when this came out and he got all the support from the commenters, they all went under. They went all under their social media and went at him, whatever.
Right.
But. Like, for real, like,
I will say is this. He's definitely been through a lot over the past years. But that kind of leads me into the second half of what I wanted to talk about. What do y'all think about his beef with Charlemagne the God and the issues that Charlemagne the God raised? Because I think they're important. I mean, we've talked about mental health on our show before, and Charlemagne the God, when he spoke on Kwame Brown, he initially came out and I honestly think in his mind, in his heart of hearts, his intent was to show how like you never know what's going on behind somebody. So you want to watch who you fuck with and not just be out here messing with people because like you messing with this dude Kwame Brown, but you don't know his family history. You don't know what could be brewing under the surface, and you could spring to life because of this. So Charlemagne said that Kwame's South Carolina issues. They're both from South Carolina. He said that Kwame's father, beat a woman with an axe handle and buried her alive, and then he got in prison for life. And that Kwame's brothers were both convicted for murder as well. So he was using these facts to show that people should leave Kwame alone because, like, you got a history of that in your family. You don't know what you can drive this man to because you messing with him. But Kwame took it as like a shot, and he kind of was talking shit about Charlemagne and calling him a rapist and envy and adulterer, and saying that the Breakfast Club needs to be taken off the air. And what are y'all thoughts on that angle of this very wild topic?
Yeah.
I think he went to the extreme or whatever because he was pissed. And I understand why he was pissed. Not only it's bad enough that all these people are talking bad about my name for the past 20 years. Okay. Then you bring up my family issues that I may still have issues with. And I understand and Charlemagne's
and that's why Charlemagne apologized for it because
exactly
that. Yeah.
And that's what made me feel like when Charlemagne went at it, I feel like he wasn't really trying to slight him at all. I think he feel like
I don't feel like it was any malice intended. I just think the end result was malicious.
I think he had that. I think he forgot where he was for a moment. I think he, he felt like he got a little too comfortable. And you have that that back and forth talk when you're talking about people and real, that boy, this, that, and the third, he popped that nigga that one time and this.
Yes, sir.
Like he got a little too comfortable and he started expressing that, thinking, not realizing, hey, guy, nationally syndicated.
Yeah.
Might be took it the wrong way.
Exactly.
Or whatever. So lesson learned. And I think Charlemagne received it. So
yeah.
See how it goes from there. Charlemagne always, what I'm saying? Sometimes you agree with him, sometimes you like, hey man, you showing you're a little too Wendy Williams today.
Right, exactly.
I think you need to filter that out. Filter out the Wendy Williams, man.
Yeah. and I think that the biggest takeaway from this whole situation is that like mental health is real.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what Kwame's mental health was, is, or will be by the end of this. And while everybody is sitting there being entertained by the bullshit, like there's some there to his mental health, and that he could be volatile because when you get to being that off the hinges about any and every statement that's ever been made about you, like, and the very public view with a podcast like All the Smoke, like that shows that it's something there that's got you that heated. That's in there deep, and that can lead to mental health if it hasn't already. So we got to really like past the bullshit. Like we got to think about the piece of that man. And like, I guess my biggest takeaway from the whole thing is like mental health is real, and we got to stop just celebrating and I guess glorifying the bullshit. Like just because people beefing, something in that beef may be funny, but that don't mean we got to keep supporting it. Because the more we support it, the more that shit happens. Because people then start doing it for the support, as opposed to, you know what I mean. So like, we just gotta chill out with that, man. Like it make us look bad, and we. At the end of the day, I ain't seen nothing get solved by it. Like for me, like a beef only matter if at the end of it you solve something. Like I've had, like, you know, we've been on campus before back in our young days, and you know we've had beef with people, and we've whooped niggas ass because they beat up a girl. You know what I mean? But they didn't beat up no girls no more. You feel me? So like a end goal was reached. Had we done that and then they still went back and did what they was doing and then we did it again and they still was like, at some point it's like we beating a dead horse here, man. Like let's move on to something that we can actually solve, so at least we can get some progress, and then we can come back to this once we figure out a plan that actually works. Because what we doing ain't working though, and there's no need to beat your head. You know what I mean? Yeah. So mental health is real, and we gotta really stop supporting the fuckery and the bullshit and the stupid shit, because like at the end of the day, it all comes down to like power dynamics and shit. So.
The issue is the media bread and butter is fuckery.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Face, what you got next on the docket, man?
Man, Kwame Brown altogether. I understand people saying maybe a mental health issue. I understand where Charlemagne came off and he was just getting too comfortable. But as far as his reactions, I mean, like, he got a right to say whatever he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not. He's not the typical celebrity. He's trying to stay in good faith and just try to go show good side. Now he popping back off like, y'all saying something, I'm saying something.
Indeed.
It is what it is. Take it as it is. You right. He is changing the narrative, but at the same instance, he's still giving them something to talk about by continually saying something back. So I mean, at some point, one of the other people gonna stop talking about him, and he gonna fade away. He has his 15 minutes, or he gonna keep on and keep on and keep on and keep feeding it and keep feeding it and keep feeding it. Until people still don't pay no attention to it, because it's like a concept. Oh, here go Kwame again. Oh, okay, here go Kwame again. He made about something else. Oh, who Kwame talking about this time? Oh, okay. And it's gonna be nothing but entertainment for people. Instead of him expressing himself to try to make a point.
They're gonna be looking for the bullshit from him. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Subscribing to the foolery. So I mean,
that's why I was wondering, was it a cash grab? I was like, maybe he's just trying to get some subscribers real quick, get some money, run some money up, and then, like, you know.
If it is a cash grab, it's a bonus. That's like bonus points to the side that he got that. Yeah. Which you're gonna get anyway because he's a figure.
Yeah. Well, he got more money than I got, so hey, it is what it is.
Indeed.